Hello and welcome to Last Time On. This is the podcast where we pick a show that none of our hosts have seen, watch the first episode, roll some dice, skip some episodes, and try to figure out what happened last time on. I'm Xhafer.
I am Ben.
I'm Victor, and I'm coming at you live from the brand new Dominion Media television headquarters here in an undisclosed city in Texas. And I just want to say thank you to these two guys right here, these two extremely handsome gentlemen who covered for me for the last 2 weeks while I was out. I know you guys were chomping at the bit to get to the next episode of Billions, so thank you guys so much. That was fun to listen to, and yeah. These guys, Xhafer and Ben, they're just great. They're
I won't
awesome.
argue with you.
I would if there was a man review website, I would recommend both these dudes 5 stars. You know,
There is.
there is there.
Oh,
Are you
I'm
talking
sure.
about Wikifeet?
I will say, Xhafer, unfortunately, because of your girlfriend's activities, you are on Wikifeet.
All right.
You know, so I don't know if I mentioned, I know I've talked to you about it, but I recently, I've got a couple buddies, everyone's pulling in and doing a weight loss challenge this summer.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And every Monday morning is a stream of everyone's weigh-ins, but it's everyone standing on the scale and zooming down.
Oh,
and
gross.
so there's like a whole text thread of Wikifeet love that they won't have access to. You're never going to get my feet selfies with my weigh-ins, Wikifeets. Dream on. Also,
Not
you
without
don't want
paying
to see
first.
these. They're not pretty feet. They're not. I've got 3 hairs on my 2 on one big and 1 on another big. No one wants to see that. It's weird.
Yeah, that was oddly specific. All right. Well, speaking of hairs no one wants to see.
Oh, boy.
We open on
hairs,
Michael Cyril Crichton.
Hares, hairs, get it? Ha ha.
Yeah.
Anyway. We're doing season 3, episode 4?
5.
5. I always get it wrong.
The flaw in the Death Star.
Yeah, of Billions. And I was watching this episode, and it opens up. We get some little bunnies sitting there, and I'm like, oh, how cute, bunnies. And then I hear a voice say, I'm a man of science. And I'm like, oh, God, no.
You're right. This is Michael Cyril Crichton. This is Howard from Only Murders in the Building. He's in a bunch of other stuff, too, but that's where I know him from. If he was recognizable to you, if you are for some reason watching Billions with us instead of just listening to us talk about it. Yeah, he's weighing the ethics of what he's done to this adorable creature.
I've got a theory, it could be Bonnie.
But he's talking about how they are still giving the bunnies tumors even though they know that the medicine doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, there is an ethical point to, hey, we are going to do something that will kill some rabbits if it cures cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's like, hey, the medicine doesn't work. We're just killing rabbits so that nobody notices we stopped killing rabbits and the stock price goes down.
Oh, that's why. I was curious about what the point of tumoring the bunnies was, because I'm like that can't. That's still labor, and I'm sure that's still expensive to put a tumor in a living animal. So I'm like, why are they doing it if it's not fruitful? But okay, it's some weird stock manipulation shit that they're doing.
It's Billions. It's always stock manipulation.
Yeah, which I totally
Ain't that the
don't
truth?
understand.
And this doctor is being interviewed by Dollar Bill, who's doing the legwork. He's making sure he is certain.
How certain? I'm certain.
Yeah, and he gives this doctor a big old bag of money. And I gotta ask, like, Where's my big old bag of money?
All right.
Do
I'm a
some
big ol'-
unethical shit that a capitalist has to pay off, Ben.
Yeah, see, that's
That's how you get that big old bag of money. You just described the scenario in which the big old bag of money is offered, and then you ask where it is. Put yourself in that scenario, you'll find your big old bag of money.
But oh man.
See, you're
Okay.
too good, Ben. You are too good for this world.
But I want the big old bag of money.
See, there's no ethical way to get that big ass bag of money like that. No, it will.
There's no ethical big bags of money under capitalism.
Correct. That's how that quote goes. Yeah.
Nailed it.
And Dollar Bill, he almost convinced me that he was concerned about the well-being of these bunnies. So I'm like, no, dude, he's just playing along. Just he doesn't give a shit. So he gives them.
Axe is at an airport when some goons are around who stop him from getting on a plane because of a setup that he might be trapped in. So instead, he calls his CIO, Taylor.
Yeah.
Now I'm
who
confused
isn't
here.
happy about it. This is a big promotion for Taylor, and I'm glad you're confused, Vic, because I want to ask you, with Taylor's promotion, what happened her?
Oh,
What the hell happened?
But I got the van.
well, that's an easy one. I mean, it was it was the result of Taylor winning the. Wait, no, there was an episode in between the poker and the thing. Well, Taylor fucked over that city. It was at Taylor's advice that Axe Capital just go balls deep into that city's pension funds. So I'm going to say that made a whole lot of money for Axe Capital, and as a result, see, now here's what I don't understand though. Bobby says he's going to send his CIO in his place. I thought CIO stood for Chief Information Officer.
Yeah, usually.
Or is
It
it?
technically could be Chief Infrastructure Officer, depending on the company.
Okay, because I thought that was an IT thing. So, like, why
it
would...
can be, but it isn't necessarily.
Yeah, I thought a CIO would be more concerned about making sure everyone's email is up as opposed to...
No, see, Victor, you are making a very important mistake.
Yeah, that'd be the Chief Technology Officer, the CTO.
But it's also, when you're in the C-suite, you don't do any of that shit.
Yeah, you don't actually do any work. Yeah.
Yeah. Your job is to sit in meetings where you make decisions that everybody else will have to do, regardless of how feasible or comprehensible they are.
Yeah.
But she is mad about it. But I was so excited to see who they were talking to. Did either of you guys clock this person?
Oh, you're talking about Oscar? The Silicon Valley hedge fund manager?
Yeah.
Or VC? Mike Birbiglia?
Yeah, it's Mike Birbiglia.
I know that name.
It's Mikey Bag of Donuts.
Now, I don't know where I know him
Famous
from.
comedian.
Is it?
He's a famous stand-up comedian. He has been on This American Life like a million times.
That must be it.
And he almost ruined my wedding.
Well, come on, dude. You can't leave me hanging like that. I mean,
Well, Victor, this is an
spill
audio
the tea.
format. You have to ask the question. I can't just see that you're looking, I was waiting
Ben,
for you.
Ben,
How
I
did
would
Mike-
like to know how Mike Birbiglia almost ruined your wedding, please.
So, Mike Birbiglia, I'm a huge fan of his stand-up. He's fantastic. Love his storytelling. Glow, also huge fan. Like, we watched his stand-up specials together as a couple. The weekend we were getting married, he had a movie come out. It is called Sleepwalk With Me. It is a fantastic film. But the underlying theme of the story is, hey, here is a guy who is choosing between stand-up and getting married, and always picking stand-up to the point where the relationship ends, and also it causes his anxiety to manifest in sleepwalking until the point where he walks out of a window in a hotel.
Oh, wow.
And that is not the movie to go watch
Right before
the weekend before your wedding while you are trying to make it as a stand-up. So it was just poor timing.
Yeah.
highly recommend the film. It's great. But yeah, it was just we left it not feeling like, oh, that was Ben, are you going to get cold feet and never be home because you're trying to make this comedy thing work? And it's like, hey, you don't have to worry about that. I ended up working nights and had to leave the comedy career behind.
You were doing stand-up, Ben?
Mm-hmm. I did stand-up for a few years. I got to the point where I was past open mic level. So, like, people were asking me to do shows. But I was, like, at the you are the first comic on.
Yeah.
Not like I'm headlining anywhere. No one was coming to see me. It was, Ben's got 5 minutes worth of jokes that we can put at the beginning of a show.
Right, yeah. You warm up, you introduce the next act, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's still pretty awesome. Yeah.
I will say I have gotten paid for doing stand-up.
Hey.
That said, I got paid a lot more when it was, and you can just drink for free tonight. If that gives you an idea of the amount of financial, money I was given versus, hey, I can do more damage than that with my 2 free drinks.
Oh.
You did have a couple really good jokes in your stand-up routine. I still, Super Heaven is a very, very funny joke.
But that's a story for another time.
Okay,
Yeah, we don't need to get
hit me
into
with
that right now.
hit me with the Super Heaven joke some other time. Yeah.
So Brian is.
So
on
wait,
the
I
hunt.
noticed that Taylor does the TV trope here of hanging up the phone without ending the conversation.
That said, I firmly believe she does, or they do that. I'll take.
Yeah, I could
said,
see that.
I
That's just
firmly
something
believe that they do that.
Yeah, I could see Taylor doing that, but still, that's just something that only happens in TV. Although I did do it for a while in my early 20s, just because I thought it was cool, and
Who
the people
would
on the other
ever
end.
start a point and then leave before saying that point?
Yeah,
You, every time we finish recording.
No, Ben, you, every time we finish recording, you do that bit. I always end up holding the bag unless I manage to catch Victor a couple of times that's happened.
yeah.
You started it, though.
You are the instigator, Ben. Do not come at me with that. Oh, guys, just one more thing. Leaves chat every fucking time.
Yeah,
Because I got to do it before you do.
Yeah, it's turned into a game after recording it.
So next we cut over to Brian, who is now in a new office doing something else. He's got a new boss named Dake, who is telling him, "Hey, you've got the stink of failure on you now." And so, Xhafer, I'm going to ask you, what happened to her?
So we hear about him riding high on a case, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know that he has a big victory before this one. All of the stink of failure on him is relating to his current case, which is, by the sounds of things, Axe.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then also we know he's out of the office and that Kate has taken his job as head of Crim and that he no longer works for Chuck. So it's obvious to me he betrayed Chuck.
Nothing stings more than a knife in your back. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 anime betrayals.
Again.
Somehow. And you might think it was a betrayal in a big thing. You might think it's a betrayal in a little thing, but you're probably thinking it is a betrayal of the job, a litigious betrayal of some kind of betrayal relating to their professional lives. And I say no! That is not what happened. This betrayal is much, much worse because when he goes to get his promotion to head of Crim that was promised to him at the end of last episode or in the middle of last episode, whatever it was, and they go back to that steakhouse, he refuses to order the mutton.
Which he should. It's a steakhouse.
Yeah.
Get the
Yeah.
steak.
I used to have a friend
not a
back in
mutton
the day
house.
who would always order chicken at a steakhouse, just as some kind of sick, perverted kink of theirs. It's
It's like going to the, Korean restaurant and getting the, the hamburger. It's like, It's just the GFS hamburger, man.
Mexican places though, that they especially the little hole in the wall places, mom and pop shops, they frequently make a good burger. Just FYI, listeners. Maybe it's just a Texas thing. I don't know, but yeah.
I had a really good burger for dinner. New place just opened up by me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, very
Yeah.
tasty.
there's the closest restaurant to my new home here is that's not a gas station. Is this place called? Oh shit! It had a funny name. Hang on, it's in my saved searches here.
While
What
you're
is this
pulling
place
that up,
called?
Victor,
It's
Yeah.
good radio,
as someone
guys.
who cares about you,
Yeah.
gas stations are not restaurants. Please stop eating at gas stations.
Fuck you, Mr. Kebab down the street is in a gas station, and it's fucking fantastic.
Xhafer, there is a difference between a gas station or a restaurant in a gas station
Yeah.
calling a gas station a restaurant, and you know this.
No, there
That's
is
fair.
it is
That's fair.
it is a restaurant in the gas station.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a big place. So yeah, no. My I know. That being said, I have had nights where I get dinner from the roller hot dog roller out over at Quick Trip, and those if I find myself in that situation, something went wrong. So
It's a sad day. One of the worst meals I've ever had in my life was gas station shawarma.
shawarma
Well, okay, one.
stations.
Well, one. There's a lot of really good shawarma near me, some of which is found inside of restaurants in gas stations. But this was not a restaurant inside of a gas station. This was gas station shawarma.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't even know that was a thing.
And I'm like, at the very least, like expecting shawarma, but it is like Tyson grilled chicken strips in a tortilla, not a pita. And that's it. No sauce, no onion, no pickle, nothing. It was disgusting.
That feels like a hate crime.
Yeah, it does.
It might be a hate crime.
He tells this story. He tells the story literally every time we pass that gas.
It's a warning. I need to tell people not to eat there.
I am the only person in the car when you tell this.
But if you don't know, then maybe you'll be with someone else who's all like, hey, that gas station has shawarma.
Gas station shawarma.
Well, that's our episode title right
Yeah,
there.
I was just about to say that. Gas station shawarma.
But unlike your colon after eating gas station shawarma, who's back together?
No.
Nice one.
No.
No, that was a good one. But yeah, Wendy and Chuck are back together. I think, was that your prediction, Ben?
Yes.
Yeah, you called
I
that
had
one.
that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and we find out what Chuck did.
Yeah.
he stole he stole Wendy's therapy session notes,
Yeah, he abused some doctor-patient confidentiality.
which I was thinking about, like, because he says there was something there that he can't unsee, and it had to do with unaliving a doctor or a
No, so what happened was he paid off this guy's doctor so that the doctor would not give him the experimental treatment that would let him live long enough to testify against him.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, though, I'm pretty sure that is an exception to doctor-patient confidentiality. That if someone's life is in danger, then that takes
Yeah.
precedence.
Some mandatory
over-
reporter stuff.
Right.
Like if you're a therapist and you find out that one of your patients killed somebody.
That's
Xhafer
why I don't
has-
go to therapy.
Oh.
Look, just because I was voted most likely to have secretly killed someone and never told anyone by a group of friends doesn't mean it's actually true.
Was that I just want to know, was that a jar of
There was a
pickled-
giant jar of olives that Beth just asked me to open.
That was
Yes.
a big jar of olives, dude.
One,
Wow.
Costco. Two, since we're now talking about it and going into the edit, there's a smaller one that's open in the fridge.
Don't
So Axe convinced this doctor, and we also find out that Axe was involved in something called the ice juice poisoning.
Man, I hope this
okay, I
is
must
just
have
like
missed that.
Prime Energy drink
Ice
or
juice.
something. Ice juice.
Yeah,
That
I don't
does
know,
sound like
or it's something like, I think it's areas of Pennsylvania where they call snow cones water ice.
Yes.
Of course, that would be Pennsylvania. God,
I feel like that's a Pittsburgh thing, and it's just like
God, fuck Pennsylvania.
water ice. That is two words that mean almost the same thing that mean nothing together. But so Chuck is hypothesizing that, hey, this same doctor who Axe worked with for that first thing, he might have worked with for that second thing, and if so, he might be the person who we can prove that this was Axe, and therefore get ourselves out of the crosshairs, which is an interesting development.
Yeah, this is some shit definitely went down because apparently Chuck is concerned about his keeping his ass out of jail as well. And apparently Bobby was also arrested at some point between our last episode. Yeah, but it seems like he was arrested prematurely without sufficient evidence, and now Chuck is scrambling to get the evidence ready before the trial. So
And so I'm going to say last time on, there is a case happening. Everybody knows it, and that is why this entire episode, Axe is not at Axe Capital.
Yeah.
He has removed himself in order to remove any liability from the business.
I have this exact last time on in my notes, but like in 15 minutes of television screen time.
Yeah.
100% on board.
It feels like, but as the case is being brought, there are now questions about the case, which, hey, I now have to prove how I know what I know, and I can't say I know because I read my wife's reports, because that's an illegal thing for me.
yeah, it's complicated. Yeah.
And now was the biggest shock of the episode. Our flight attendant is a going concern.
Right?
I wouldn't say growing concern, but
Or
I'm
continuing
surprised
concern.
she's still there.
Like, I did not expect her to go from
Yeah.
season 2 into season 3.
yeah, same.
Yeah,
I hope she's getting that reoccurring character bag.
Yeah, get that money.
She's getting ready to go to work, and Brian is laying in bed, and he just wants to talk about work, and I'm like, Jesus, that's depressing.
Well, and he also reveals that sometimes he thinks about delivering closing arguments during, and she reveals, I can tell, which means, Victor, do you think that's the good times or the bad times?
Good for him, bad for her.
You could definitely tell by the tone in her voice this was not something that pleased her in more than one sense of the word.
I was thinking it was sad because she can tell, oh, he's way more like feeling himself right now. He's not thinking about me. He's thinking about hearing guilty, guilty, guilty.
Yep, he's wanting to drop that gavel.
Yeah.
He's wanting to get that hung jury. Yeah.
And
that
then he
is
goes
bad,
to
bad.
work in like his side room.
Yeah. Where
Yeah,
we
well,
see he's
hang
got
on,
a...
hang on. Before she goes to work, she says Lawrence Boyd's initials were taken off the private jet, and she has to go make sure everything's good to go there. And that reminded me a long ass time ago. I worked at its Signature Flight Support. It was it was not actually a airport, but it was at the airport. It was like they called it an FBO, but it was where all the smaller planes land, like the private jets and shit like that. And that did remind me that I think the guy's name was Larry Flint. That was
the hustler guy?
Yeah, him. His plane came in a couple of times, and the tail number, of course, it was I want to say it was LF069, and it was a black and gold fucking Gulfstream, and I was just like, wow, are you serious? Yeah.
I would say nice, but you know what? I don't really feel like it this time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But he's got
Anyway.
Brian has his. There's no red string on it, but it's his red string cork board.
It's his
100%.
conspiracy theory board, and that's
that
another thing
has
that
Chuck on it.
Yeah, Chuck's on it. Chuck's dad's on it. Lawrence Boyd's on it. And again, this is another thing I feel is just a TV trope. I don't think these conspiracy theory boards actually exist in real life. No one does this. Like, have you guys ever met someone who has a conspiracy theory board with the pictures and the string and shit?
So, Victor. No, but I do lots of whiteboard diagrams at work. A full third of my job is drawing diagrams, I would say, of how like data tables interact with each other, how different data sources interact with each other.
Like
or
actually drawing
environment
with a marker and
like
a board?
actually drawing. I do a lot
Wow.
of actual drawing on whiteboards
Huh.
with lots of red lines. I'm not using string, but that's because tearing it all down, picking it all back up, and also that would mean that I was printing everything out and then
Right.
using pins,
Yeah.
which is absurd because it's a whiteboard. You just write on it. But maybe 40 years ago, 30 years ago, I might have been this person.
Yeah.
Next, we see Dollar Bill saying, "Hey, I'm very certain, so let's short this lab." And
Oh, this was after the scene where the douchebag pulls up in a Porsche,
Yeah.
and we see that Dollar Bill drives a minivan.
Yeah, this is
That's interesting.
Spiru, or that's the vice president. What's this guy's name?
yeah, Spiros is one of those
Spiros,
guys
thank
who
you.
is driving a Porsche while wearing a Porsche windbreaker.
Yeah.
And Dollar
Is that
Bill is
it?
just staring at him.
Yeah.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is the guy from the pilot who
Yes,
was
no.
the SEC guy.
100% he is.
Yeah.
He was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he looked familiar. Yeah.
So I'm guessing he was probably in more episodes before this, but
Okay. And now he's actually working for
Yes.
Axe Capital. I see.
so many characters we don't even get to see some until the third season. of the
Right.
show. Dense.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Dollar Bill calls Taylor to get approval to do a trade.
He uses some very unsavory and frankly misplaced language. Because if I'm supposed to believe that Taylor is a liberal, after that libertarian diatribe we got
Yeah.
in the previous episode, you can get fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, no. Taylor has gone full Sith Lord. Their training is complete.
Mm-hmm.
And also drops some, like, I've read my Agrippa, so I know that you're trying to. It's like, Dollar Bill ain't that smart. You are adding depths that are not there. This guy's just an a-hole. But
For
Taylor is one of those people where it's like, ah, yes, I see that you are trying to be a douchebag to put me off my game, therefore to put you in a place of power. It's like, no, he's just a dumb douchebag.
He's not playing 4D chess.
Yeah.
Most people aren't.
And we also find out Taylor is not happy to be going to see Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah.
Right. And man, it is a fucked up move that Birbiglia does here. He teases the Woz. He says, "Hey, we got Steve Wozniak in here." I'm like, really? Like, no, not really.
Nah,
That's
of course
messed
not
up,
really.
man. You don't tease the Woz.
We also have Axe meeting with this doctor where we get our interesting trope of the episode, which is we are watching Axe trying to get a read on this doctor and constantly not being able to be like, is he telling the truth? Is he lying? Is he telling the truth? Is he lying? And so we get like this Rashomaning of seeing it. Is the doctor, destroying the sample? Is the doctor not destroying the sample? What's going on here?
Right. And is this where they come up on the doctor out bird watching?
This is before that.
Oh, before that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because Chuck Rhodes goes to the husband of the guy who designed the Derek Zoolander School for kids who can't read good and want to do other stuff good too. Before that.
This is a school for ants.
Yeah, so the guy who died because of this doctor, Chuck goes to see his husband to be all like, your husband could have lived another 6 months with this experimental treatment, but Axelrod shut it down so that he would die before he could testify.
Stole his last Christmas.
Yeah. and this
And
guy's like, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah, this doctor came to the funeral. He held me and we cried.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he let slip that he was among the first 15 to donate to the charity.
Yeah.
So that's or no, the charter school. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Which does cut over to now, because of that, Chuck is talking to another confidant, and it's just like, hey, get me the people who donated to the charter school, and they immediately go off on a Xhafer-esque tirade about how evil charter schools are, and I'm like, preach it, sister.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to do anything. Just play the clip.
Yeah.
So Brian talks to Kate about Chuck's bullshit after this, as Taylor hates everything, and Dollar Bill gets into a fight with the compliance guy that Wendy ends by pulling them both into her office.
Yeah, he calls him a 6-figure pants shitter, and I had to write that one down. Like, oh man, that's a good burn right there. You 6-figure pants shitter.
But yeah, it seems that, so I'm going to say, last time on, we've got Spiros here. There was enough illegal stuff happening that they brought in a guy from the SEC and offered him a dump truck full of money to say, hey, catch our stuff before the SEC would.
And it seems to me that that this guy, Ari Spiro here, that, yeah, they brought him in, but he's like, no, everything you're doing is illegal.
Well, but he does make a good point where it's just like, hey, Bill, you don't have any due diligence. There is no reason in the math, in the numbers you're bringing, to short this company. Meaning, if the SEC tries to depose me, I have no reason to say, here are the, here's points A, B, and C, so everyone will know, hey, we knew something else. But we do get this very, very fun Wendy big dogging these two guys who, she's just like, hey, shut up, my office now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ask if this is like couples therapy, and she says that if it was, my recommendation to you would be to break up.
You know, I had this exact conversation almost in my last job, at my last position, or second to last, because shit got weird. But yeah, I had the most toxic fucking supervisor I've ever had in my entire life. And I was talking with the first sergeant, and he was trying to tell me to be reasonable, and I'm like, I am. This person is not being reasonable, and I was like, this reminds me so much of the most toxic girlfriend I ever had. Did the same manipulation and gaslighting and shit. And I'm trying to remember, okay, how did I deal with it back then? Oh yeah, I dumped her. I can't dump my fucking supervisor.
But I do love that this session ends with Wendy going, I've never told Axe to fire somebody for being a dick. Don't be the first. But now we cut back over to Axe, and he's got, at this point I realized, these are new goons.
Yeah. Hall is gone.
Which, I'm going to say, last time on, Hall was lurking in the wrong stairwell, and he got.
Yeah.
He accidentally, when Axe was visiting somebody in prison, he spawned inside a stairwell and got stuck in the
He
prison.
got shanked.
Well, he's just in prison now.
Oh, he's just in
because
prison. It
He
was
just
like
appeared too close to Axe when he was visiting someone.
it's kind of like when you're playing The Sims and you build a wall around your sim. That's what happened to him, and he can't.
Well, it's just
Mm-hmm.
he was somewhere he wasn't allowed to be.
I'm gonna say last time on, I'm gonna take a positive spin on it for once. Hall got smart and decided to quit while he was ahead. And these two, I got him in my notes as the Terminator twins. Like these two new goons are his apprentices. He's trained them.
I called them the Twinks in all of my notes because
To be fair, it's Pride Month.
well, I firmly believe they're fucking. The way that they interact with each other makes me believe that they are in a committed relationship.
Okay.
So
They went to spy school together.
there's the one scene where he's all like, I firmly believe that I've trained most of my life to be able to resist that temptation, and his buddy just like looks over at him and is all like, you totally would. And they look at each other's eyes for a moment, like they're fucking. And I know Beth has will see into these things sometimes too, and she was all like, not only are they fucking, but it's weird sex. And I would agree.
Sometimes that is just wishful thinking on Beth's part.
Yeah, Beth does make everything gay, but oftentimes I've noticed that Beth is right. She has got laser guided gaydar.
But Wendy is now smart enough to know, hey, that sucked. I need alcohol. Where can I go to get alcohol? Wags' office.
Yeah.
And he's got another bottle of what's it called? Lagavulin?
This is the Mitchters. This is like a
Mitchters,
very
that's right.
specials bottle of Mitchters, which was what he was drinking
Right.
at the other thing too.
Right, dude, he's got. I mean, is the show sponsored by Mitchers? You think maybe? I mean, I don't
It was
know.
just a
might
very
be.
in the zeitgeist
Was it?
fancy bourbon of the time. I mean, it still is.
I was
but-
curious about that. Like, how would that work? Are they like? Is the show paying Mitchers to be able to use their label, or is
usually the other way around.
the other way around?
You
I
put
was
out the
curious
call
about that,
to bourbon companies and be like, "Hey,
yeah.
do you want your product being the product that the rich people drink?"
In our show. Yeah.
Yeah.
In their show Billions. We've got some billionaires and they're gonna be drinking some fancy bourbon. So who's giving us more bottles? Pappy or Mitchters? Let's do
Happy
this.
is like, we only make 7 bottles a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got me
So.
curious because for a while on my Facebook feed, I was getting these ads for this like travel insurance, but it's like,
It's a scam. Yeah.
no, well, it probably is, but it's like this, you have your own fucking SEAL Team 6. So if you go travel somewhere shady and you get in trouble, you have your own extraction team on standby. And I'm just like, what the fuck makes you think I can afford this? Like, why are you showing this to me?
That is
And-
also exactly the sort of thing where it's like, these guys only get paid to shoot videos of them jumping out of a helicopter, because you know what you can't do?
What,
Extradite somebody in a foreign country as just dudes.
just dudes.
That's just crimes.
Yeah. Well, and my buddy Tiger Mike over at the Blue Goo Review podcast, he explained it to me. He goes, dude, it's because you own Dominion Media Television and you listed yourself as the CEO. I'm like, oh, I did. So that's why Facebook thinks that's why I'm getting all these jewelry advertisements. I'm like, I don't fucking buy jewelry. Who do you think I am, Facebook?
So
Anyway.
we now know that even though we saw him at work release prison, Boyd avoided jail time.
Yes.
And Kate is
Right.
asking where he is, and Chuck is just like, don't worry about it. And she does immediately be like, yeah, Brian asked me to find out about this. And Chuck is like, and I knew you were going to flip on Brian before you even brought this up because you're here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking me about this. So you and I are still on the same team. And we find out that Boyd flipped on Axe and was rewarded for it.
Right. And I guess, like, I thought that was a well-known practice, that if someone in, like, prisoners, convicted felons can lighten up their sentence by, what's the word I'm looking for? Squealing,
Informing.
tweeting. No, what do they call it? What do they
Informing.
call it? No, the term for it in mafia, rat
Snitching.
Snitching. There, that's the word I was looking for.
I think
Right,
what
this-
he uses to try and
Yeah.
says, Victors, is he's a stool pigeons.
Stool pigeon, yeah.
But the thing that happened here, it seems like they are implying that he just flipped on some people. What he actually did was create a fake company that was bait for Axe, and so they were actually doing like entrapment stuff, but they need to not let anybody know they were doing some entrapment stuff.
Okay.
Like, we gotta get Catherine Zeta-Jones out of here.
Yeah. So he tells, and now he's pushing, or Chuck is pressuring Boyd to give him some real names, and
so
Boyd's
that they
like,
can
no.
pretend.
Yeah, and Boyd's like, no, fuck you, give me my boat. Boyd just wants his boat.
He just wants his boat back.
Well, you know what they say, the two best days of owning a boat are the day you buy the boat and the day that the district attorney gives you your boat back. But now Axe is meeting with his lawyer. What's his lawyer's name again?
Oh, I forgot his name. Is the Russian guy, the barbershop dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he notices that Dollar Bill keeps calling, and he's just like ignoring it. And he leaves, and Bill is outside, and she's like, "You're ignoring my calls." And Axe is like, "Yeah, I figured that would have been a hint."
I've said that to people before. Like, dude,
Yeah.
I was a little busy. But oh god, this is my favorite scene in the whole series so far, where Dollar Bill is just like, "Fuck you, I'm getting naked." Just in the middle.
Well,
of
he's
the
like,
street.
you don't know who's listening, and he thinks that's an accusation of wearing a wire. And so he chooses to demonstrate how little of a wire he's wearing by stripping down in the streets.
Yeah. And what does he say? Strip or retire?
Strip or retire. Yeah.
And he says that's something that's a
from
saying?
from Athens, because one of the things about Athenian democracy is you had to vote to go to war.
Mm-hmm.
But if you voted to go to war, you went to war personally.
I like that, actually.
And so it is it leads to what Bill is trying to say is like you have to have skin in the game in order to be voting. Well, here is my skin. I got skin in the game. And Axelrod is just like, man, we're on the street in public.
Stop it.
You don't need to be wearing a wire for somebody to be listening.
Yeah.
Bill is very dumb.
I really hated him at the beginning of this series, but I'm coming around to him. I like him because he's just a fucking hot mess.
He reminds me
He's a
of some
buffoon.
people I work with.
He's like Garibaldi. It's like I like him as a character, but Jesus Christ, I would hate to have to work for this dude.
Oh, that is my. I don't know if anybody in the Discord. I just went on my tangent about Diogenes, the philosopher. He is somebody I firmly believe. Well, because Diogenes is that guy where when you learn your second thing about philosophy, it's, oh, there's all these philosophers who had these high-minded ideals, and then there's this guy Diogenes who lived in a barrel and was just like an ultimate troll. And the people who think being the ultimate troll is cool love Diogenes. And I've read enough Diogenes where I'm just like, this guy is an insufferable prick. Like, people hated, like, Plato, and Socrates was not fun to be around. And this guy made them be the reasonable person.
Half your
Yeah.
references just flew right over my head, but that was the most Ben fucking on-brand rant ever. Like, Diogenes was that guy.
Well, it's mostly
He
just
100% was. Though.
he was infuriating.
Oh, man.
But we
a
now
real
get
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, he's very Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
We now get our conversation between Taylor and Mike Birbiglia, where they've now seen some of the real presentations, and they start talking about the flaw in the Death Star and how it's not actually a plot hole. It's like, yeah.
Never was. I agree. It never was a plot hole.
Look, I fucking hated this scene because this was all like, okay, I did the thing, whatever, the business stuff. You made one reference that someone else understood, and it was the most, is one of the most base level sci-fi references you could make, right? And now you are best friends.
So
This is
listen,
some Big Bang Theory shit.
It is. I agree. Because at the time, because when did this air? Like 2015?
Something around then.
something,
Around that time. Yeah. But if this aired today, I hate to say it, but it would be a little more believable. Because I just got done. So last month, Fortnite had a whole special event where it was all Star Wars themed. And I just started playing Fortnite. I suck at it. I play it because my girlfriend plays it, and it's how she keeps in touch with her family. They all jump on, and it's a lot of fun. And anyway, now that we're living together, I'm part of the whole. Anyway, that's a whole thing. Anyway, so I started trying to get good at Fortnite to not embarrass myself in front of her family. So I was on YouTube.
How's that going?
It's going better than expected. I'm still got my skills, but I was on YouTube looking up strategies and shit. And here are these Gen Zers talking about, is like, okay, here's the new Fortnite update. So you can get these spacecraft here, and you can fly them around, and we found out you can use them to shoot up a Jar Jar over there. And I'm like, motherfucker, that's an X-wing, and that's not Jar Jar, that's Emperor Palpatine. How do you get those two mixed up? It's like,
Well,
fuck.
because Jar Jar is the Sith Lord who's actually pulling the strings
Okay, look,
behind
that's
everything.
a whole other thing we can talk about some other time, because I like
Darth
that theory.
Jar Jar.
Yes. Yeah, Darth Jar Jar was a skin that you could unlock. That was pretty cool.
Because
Anyway.
Misa is the Senate.
But yeah, no, Star Wars is now fading. Like I dated a girl back in Fort Worth who knew Darth Vader as Hayden Christensen, and I was like, "Shut up, go home."
Well, I mean, those
She's
movies
too
are
young
now
for you, dog.
those movies are now
20 plus years old.
24 years old. Yeah.
God,
No.
my back hurts.
No. I want to say Phantom.
It came in '99. The first one came
Phantom
out.
Menace was 99. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking. I think it's Attack of the Clones was 02. I think that's
Right.
what I'm thinking. Okay.
Bill makes his trade anyway, even though he was told not to by the "Don't Go to Jail" office. And then Chuck meets with Boyd, and it's just like, "Hey, give me some names so we can retroactively make it look like this is why you got out of jail."
Yeah.
And Spiros catches Bill trying to get around him because he was just like, "Hey, I'm going to put something in the computer that alerts me if somebody tries to short this company. Because you know what I'm not? Bad at my job, Bill." And he goes to Wags and is just like, "Hey, fire this guy or I quit and I have to
And I'm
tell
gonna turn you
everyone.
in. Yeah.
I have to say why I quit."
Yeah. After
Which,
this, Taylor. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that makes sense. I mean, because it fits his character and probably legal requirements anyway. So he's not trying to be a dick. He's just telling it like it is. So.
Taylor goes to the classiest LCG tournament in history.
Yeah, Netrunner,
Netrunner.
which apparently was actually a real game.
Yeah, so this is Netrunner was an LCG living card game, which is different from a TCG or CCG trading card game or collectible card game, because instead of buying packs when they put out new cards, you always got a complete set. You would go buy a box that had the 50 new cards with all of the copies you would need.
So
there
there's
was
no
no
gacha
buying
gimmicks.
multiple.
Yeah. It's not like you buy this pack and there's a 10% chance that it has a legendary or some shit like that.
Yeah, none of that.
Okay.
You don't lose because you somebody just happens to have the better, fancier card.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is one I like those games a little bit better because you don't just get a, hey, I paid $4,000 for the win card.
Yeah. They are easier to keep up with as a player because you buy X amount of cards. There's other problems with them, though, because the product is less sustainable over time because once someone has the one box, they're never buying another pack.
Yeah.
You have to put out a lot more cards to remain sustainable, to keep selling.
And there's a whole challenge of keeping people interested for that long. So
yeah, and so when they tend to actually put out more cards than trading card games or collectible card games because you're putting out a couple 60 card decks every month instead of a 200 card set every 4 months or 5 months, and it tends to have a lot of balance problems just due to the raw number of cards. And then also, if they stop printing the set and then you need a card from it, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because they tend not to have rotations like collectible card games.
Axe has now bought out another restaurant with Wags and Spiros.
Jeez, dude, this is the second time he's done this.
Well,
I'm
you
sure
know the
it's
reason.
the 20th time.
One, it makes it look like he's rich, and two, it just makes production a lot easier. Because you know what we already did? Bought out the restaurant to film in it, and now we don't need any extras doing extra shit in the back. And so it's one of those like, hey, we're two birds with one stone. Like, they're Showtime. They've got the money. If they wanted extras in the background, they could have it. Yeah. But it's like, one, this is less of a production headache, and two, it makes them look richer.
That's ironic. That's ironic how that works because it's what you call it, ironic.
Don't you think
that it makes it makes it look like they spent more money when in actuality they saved money. I don't know, man. I've never heard of this before, like buying out an entire restaurant just for your own personal meeting. Like, I kind of want to do this one day. I'm gonna make this a long-term goal in life, but it's gonna be like a Wendy's or a fucking Jack in the Box or something.
I will say, the last time I ran into this, I was downtown for a concert in downtown Detroit, and there is a restaurant that I love right across the street from my office that I was like, hey, I finally have the time to like sit down and enjoy a beer, and they make a really great burger. It was bought out for a meeting, and I was just like, oh man, I have to go to one of the other 100 fantastic restaurants down here in Detroit. But it was like, but this was the one I wanted.
Okay. So one, that was my last week because I was on a work trip where it was everyone who works for my company in North and South America was at this meeting. A couple exceptions, obviously, for whatever reasons, people who can't travel, whatever's going on. But
the whole Americas, huh?
All of Americas, yeah. And so this was like what I was living for the last week was going to restaurants that we had bought out for the day.
Damn, how rolled your fare?
No, I did not pay for any of it.
You're rolling with people who do that shit.
But man, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the fucking restaurants downtown. Because Detroit has a fucking bomb-ass food scene. And I was on a team building exercise, and who were like, okay, what's your favorite food? Okay, cool. You know, like, oh, and where are people from? Oh, Seattle. Oh, Chicago. Oh, New York. Okay. Oh, Detroit. Okay. Man, all of those are great food towns, except Detroit, because this meeting was in Chicago. So he thought he'd get a quick pop. But he didn't know that the room that I was in was finance, which is all based out of Southfield. Mm-hmm. And so it's all based out of Detroit, sorry. And like 80% of the room is Michigan people. And the crowd turned on this guy so fast.
They can stay in Chicago with their bullshit pizza.
Agreed. Their bullshit hot dogs. I don't even like hot dogs. Hot dogs deserve ketchup.
I actually don't like ketchup on my hot dog, but
I don't like ketchup on my hot dog either because I put chili on it like a real person. But if you're not going to do chili and you're just going to do mustard, put some fucking ketchup on it.
Yeah, see, it's best you put it on the bun first and then lay the wiener on there.
Chicago beef is great though.
Yeah.
I got lots of love for the Chicago beef, and also tavern style pizza in Chicago. Also solid. Although I don't know if that's actually a Chicago thing or a St. Louis thing. I've heard some conflicting. I will leave that for someone in the Discord to get mad at me about.
a lot of my fans on Dominion Media Television, they have been apparently banned from the city of Chicago because I put ketchup on a hot dog. So I was like, "What's the big deal?" They're like, "You're banned from Chicago."
Nothing of value was lost.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Not offer you Malort? Oh no!
But I want to see the Pope anyway.
Then go to the Vatican. 'Cause
Yeah, you go to
Lord
Rome.
I
knows-
know I'm not making a joke because Chicago.
Although, can you imagine if the
It's
Sox
Chicago
go
Pope.
to the World Series and the Pope shows up?
And honestly, I don't even know what the Pope does. He wears a hat and smoke fire. I don't know.
That's probably it. You don't have to worry about it, Victor.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Listeners in the Discord, explain to me what the Pope does. Thanks. Okay. Next.
Taylor wins the game or flirts or both. Good for them either way.
I am curious how lore accurate this Netrunner game is. I would, if any of you guys out there play Netrunner, let me know if
I have been
Showtime
around
got this
people
right.
playing Netrunner, and this sounded pretty close to Netrunner. to
But
me.
this is the first time that anybody at a card game night has ended that with going home and having sex.
Oh yeah. This has never happened in
Someone
the
at a
history
card
of,
game
of,
night?
of
Yeah,
the
for
human
sure.
race. No one gets
100%.
laid it.
That's not how
Easily.
this works.
No one goes to Friday Night Magic to get laid. That has never happened once.
Our goons reveal that, hey, the doctor, he has no debt. He likes bird watching, which is
Yeah.
free.
Fucking free hobbies.
Yeah, like,
Tommy.
we have no leverage on this guy.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit, this guy's Ben.
That's not true. I have hobbies that cost a lot of money.
No, I know, but it was saying like they checked his finances. He didn't take any bribes, or the money that he was given by Bobby went straight to
To charity.
yeah. So it's like, oh, we don't have any leverage on him. Like I
Yeah.
imagine that this is what goons would do if they investigated Ben. They'd be like, well, we can offer him some LARP gear.
I was expecting them to kill this dude this episode. I thought that's where this was going. And maybe that's the start of next episode, but
Yeah.
we won't know. Axe learns about the doctor's other meeting here as well, but they don't know who it was with. We know, of course, that it was with Chuck Rhodes.
Yes. Wendy talks to Axe, and he's just
Yep.
like, man, I've got no read on this guy, which is why every time we've been in Axe's head, like, did he just destroy the thing? Did he, like, put it in his fridge? Like, what's going on? Like, he's, like I said, he's Rashomaning the whole thing, where we're seeing every possible way this could play out. And this is the second time they bring up that there was a toxin as part of this ice juice thing. And I want to ask you guys, I want to know what happened, but let's get weird with it.
Let's get
This is pre-Logan Paul, right? I can't get a Logan Paul cheap shot in.
You can get a Logan Paul
Oh
cheap
God,
shot.
I'm not aware of
Well,
this.
that 100%. Ice Juice was the precursor to Primes. This was when Logan Paul's career was first starting, right? And so originally he wanted to be called Ghost Juice, but then the whole thing with Japan happened.
What?
I'm
know it all. I don't,
no, it's
I don't
it's
wanna
cool.
know.
You're happier not knowing. He
Probably.
did something incredibly disrespectful to the people and culture of Japan. You're good.
God, I fucking hate Logan Paul.
He's
the worst.
He's a piece of shit.
The whole family, and it's horrible because I didn't realize that he owned Prime until after I've already gotten hooked on this stuff. I mean, I hate it because it's a good energy drink, and they sell it at Dollar Tree for super
You know,
cheap.
they've been sued for having a higher percentage of chemicals that will never leave your body in that than are legally allowed.
Then that's probably why I'm hooked on it, because it's cheaper than Red Bull and it's twice as effective.
Yeah, don't drink
Don't
Prime.
drink
Prime
that.
is actually bad for you. Please don't drink Prime.
Of all the things that are bad for me, this one isn't even.
Also,
in
they're
the
like
top 10,
advertising to kids and shit. Fucking terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Fuck Logan
yeah.
Paul.
So
Anyway, so Ice Juice was his first attempt at an energy drink, and Axe bought in on it, and it was a giant debacle because there was just straight up poison in it.
I'm going to say something similar because I just recently on another podcast learned about there's a documentary on Netflix talking about I think it's called the Tylenol murders or some shit like that. Happened in the 80s. I'm going to say that's what happened here. Bobby purposely poisoned a small batch of like Arizona iced tea or something that was just going to this one. It was just one batch that was headed for a particular town, and he figured chances are, yeah, some other people are going to drink it and die, or maybe it was just low enough dosage that it would affect someone over the age of, I don't know, 60 or however old this doctor was that he was targeting. So yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. It's the same formula as the kind of poison we saw in that one episode of The Expanse, to where it only targets Martians who are taking gravity drugs.
Did you watch the trailer for that Expanse game?
I did, and I am so down for it. Oh my god, I hope it comes to console, because otherwise I'm gonna have to spend $1,000 on a new PC. So
I think you guys didn't get weird enough with it.
Yeah,
I
we
think
didn't.
what happened was Axe got voted out of buying an NFL team. And ice juice is the official drink of the NFL. And so what he did was he found a way to put in a toxin that doesn't kill anybody, but it gives you like crazy
hives.
Like it gives you the root beer and chili dog treatment.
Ooh,
It's extreme blue. It turns your skin blue.
Yeah. It's just pancake batter and blue paint. But no, so he poisoned everybody at a bunch of NFL games when they got their ice juice. They were handing it out. It's the official drink of the NFL. Oh! Every team was the Browns that week.
I'm dropping in that scene from South Park. You guys, I found the brown noise.
All right. Well, then next, we got Taylor leaving, and then Bill steals a newspaper just for the thrill of it. And we find out.
That just made me realize that newspapers are actually still a thing, because I remember seeing them at last time I made a late night 7-Eleven run for snacks. I was like, wow, who the hell buys these things anymore?
I need to get a newspaper. I want
the only newspaper I cared about stopped printing back in like 2011. It was The Onion. I used to love getting the Onion print editions. It broke my heart when they stopped.
Yeah.
So.
But we now have a new plan where when Bill has one of his creative trades, we run it through somebody else so that people can't be like, hey, all of these crime trades all happen from the same guy. And he's like, all right, so I get to do my thing. It's like, no, you've been flagged on this twice. Now everybody knows you did something.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bill's just like, so I'm out, just my bag of money? And it's like, yeah, dude. You did a bad job of being a financial criminal. And also, you've got to go apologize to Spiros.
Yes.
Yeah, public apology. Yeah.
Now, because he won his appeal, Brian gets to see the notes on
Boyd, yeah,
where they have now gone back in and added the names of the people he's flipped on. And the guy, I didn't catch this guy's name. There's another lackey lawyer.
The one who handed, what's her name? She's got
Kate.
such a cool name. Yeah, Kate. Handed her the pen with the aged ink, or the pen from 6 months ago.
The pen from 6 months ago for the pad from 6 months ago. And he makes a point that, like, we're not fabricating evidence. He gave us the names. We're just fabricating when he gave us the names.
Yeah,
it's
fair.
It's fine.
It's fine.
But we get a feeling that, Brian knows that Kate is not on Team Brian. She's on Team Chuck. It's like, yeah.
And Chuck,
district attorney.
Chuck does a little purposeful stroll by and makes eye contact with Brian there. It's like, I know you're trying to fuck me. So,
and Brian now goes and approaches Boyd, and it's just like, I know you hate Chuck as much as I hate Chuck. Join me. Get revenge. And Boyd is just like, I'm getting on my boat and fucking off.
Yep.
The smartest thing anyone has done on this show so far is just get out of your boat and fuck off. Dude.
Just fucking off. I'm tired of all of your bullshit. Every last one of you. I'm assaulted by a different 3 characters every week. Fuck this show. I'm leaving. Also in there, Dr. Bill apologizes and fucking hates it.
It is just one of the worst apologies I've ever seen.
I love that
A+.
he's got every sentence written down on a separate index card.
And our other traders are just like, is it a birthday? Are we getting Fudgie the Whale?
Oh, this made me so sad because it's all, man, that's all
It
I
made
want
me
in life.
really
is
want
I
a
want
Fudgie the Whale.
Yes, the closest place. Well, actually, I live closer now to the nearest.
To a Carville.
Yeah, the nearest one I think is in San Antonio.
Xhafer was at a birthday party of mine where Fudgie the Whale was a major part of it. It was also one of the worst. It all turned out, but the whole idea was I was going to have a karaoke birthday party.
Hey.
We were all going to go to this karaoke bar near my house.
We've been going to regularly.
Yeah, and I had gone the week before to check it out with some friends, and they had a big sign, no cover ever.
We've gone 5 times to this karaoke bar.
Yeah. And
including the
then
week previous.
The day we show up, hey, we just instituted a cover. Everybody needs $10.
Well, it was a different bar. They had sold the bar,
Oh,
changed the name on the side of the building,
damn.
and instituted a cover charge.
And we rolled up with 20 people. And it was just like, you're really going to tell 20 people to leave your bar?
Don't talk to me. I was the one dealing with the bouncer. And it's just you're going to fucking talk to me like you've had a cover for forever? We were here last week and the sign said no cover ever. So no, we did not bring $20 cash a piece. Fuck you.
Yeah. So we audibled, went somewhere else, and I ate my Fudgie the Whale.
You got a Fudgie the Whale?
Yeah, and it was delicious.
Oh.
And then I later learned I'm lactose intolerant.
It was, hey, if you got a Fudgie the Whale out of it, worth it.
It was.
Yeah.
It was Fudgie going in and Fudgie coming out.
Damn it, Ben.
Anyways, Bill speaking of things that are running, Bill rents a van and runs into Spyro's sports car.
He's going to jail for this, right?
At the very least, he's gonna have to. I mean, I imagine the occupation that he has the money to spare.
Yeah, he'll just buy him a new Porsche.
Yeah,
but he smashed that one. So
honestly, though, I mean, I've never known a Porsche owner to not be a douchebag. So to me, this is worth it. You know, I would do it if I had the money.
Our doctor then says, hey, the slide's destroyed. I can't give it to you, but you know what I want? I want $200 million. And Axe is like, cool, I'll give you $200 million. And then immediately turns around and is like, that guy's going to fuck me.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah.
Because he's already handed the slide off to Chuck.
Yep. And we get the little
takes
montage
it in the
thing.
fridge.
Dude.
Put it in the mini fridge in your office, not where your wife can find it.
Yes. I knew. Yeah. As soon as I saw this, I'm like,
I argue it is more drastic than that because in this episode, she talks about trying to get Chuck and Axe in the same room and that they used to be friends. When they were first dating, before he worked for the DIA and the DA and was in private practice, they were friends. So 100%, Axe is going to find that in their fucking fridge when she follows up on her threat to have them hang out because she doesn't think he's being investigated by Chuck right now.
Okay, hey, let's get a side bet going here. Bonus point if any one of us is right, because I have also a theory. As soon as I saw this, I'm going even more dramatic.
Okay.
I'm going to say one of his kids finds it and accidentally poisons himself with it.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so bonus point pool. How does this sample get lost, Ben?
I'm going to say that...
Well, you already said Wendy was going to find it.
Yeah, I'm going to say that Wendy finds it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was before bonus point pool. If you want to revise, feel free.
I will say that Wendy finds it because the tape stops sticking and she sees it like hanging down.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if we'll be
Nice.
able to confirm that by episode synopsis, but
We'll
see.
figure it out.
Yeah, if Wendy finds it, that's good enough for me. Okay.
Xhafer, what's
All right.
yours?
Oh,
My-
he already made his. He said,
Yeah,
oh,
Axe finds it.
Axe is
Yep,
gonna find
yep,
it.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is no way in hell this slide is going to survive all the way to trial.
No.
I was thinking the other possibility, though, would be I could see Axe finding out about it, or somehow and he's not able to take it, and he causes a power outage. Because he did mention earlier in the episode that this particular slide, the sample will disintegrate or whatever if it's left unrefrigerated for like 18 hours.
Yeah, they
or
did
some
say that a handful of times. So
Yeah. So
that's a good call out too. Power outages.
Oh
Very
yeah,
likely.
that'd be interesting.
I could
Yeah.
see Axe buying out, like he buys out a restaurant, buy out a power station, and just turn off the power for
Head your
18
goons, make him lose power for a day. Yeah.
I'm gonna say what happens is the power goes out and Chuck keeps being like, nobody opens the fridge, and Wendy is just like, why doesn't he want anybody opening the fridge? I'm now going to scour the fridge. Haha, I found it.
All right.
Yeah, this will be fun.
That's our episode. Let's roll some dice.
Roll them
Roll
bones.
them bones.
That is an 11.
Where are we going?
We
What'd
are
you roll,
skipping
Ben?
ahead to season 4, episode 5, A Proper Send-Off.
Ooh.
Chuck begins working in a new position. Axe is surprised by a visitor from his past. Wendy deals with the consequences of Chuck's actions. Taylor goes after an organization that has a history with Axe.
Damn it. Damn you, Taylor. I loved Taylor at first in the poker episode, and then when they went full fucking Ayn Rand in the next episode we saw Taylor in, I was like, curse you, Taylor. You're horrible. But, oh well. Well, it's time for everyone's favorite part of the episode. It's time for some predictions.
Lincoln, what are you doing up there?
Guessing? I guess no one's coming.
I have seen into the future.
You ruined the prophecy.
Yeah, I can start us off.
Go for it, man.
Daytime. We don't see Mike Birbiglia again.
Oh.
It just seems like a one-off kind of a deal. My daytime prediction and my evening prediction are a little bit more involved. So I'm going to say the transition point that I'm talking about is the start, like right before the start of season 4, episode 5, the next episode that we watch, right? And I feel like a lot has happened here in this description. I'm going to say we miss a time jump sometime between the pilot and the start of this next episode. So to be clear, the time jump happened before. If this next episode starts with 5 years later and that's the only time jump, I'm fucked. Until I get to my prime time prediction, which is there will be another time jump from the start of this episode to the end of the finale.
But will the next jump be the one that takes us home?
No, that never happens. You leap for forever, Sam.
All right, so I got mine here. I got 2 easy ones and a big one. So my daytime prediction: we're going to get a new big alpha finance bro who is a bigger threat than Bobby, and is going to take him. He's higher up on the food chain. He's going to be the new villain, or he or she. Yeah.
And so this is a new character,
New character, yes.
someone we have not met yet.
Right.
So if it's what's his name from 2 episodes ago, whose name we haven't heard again, the mob boss, the guy with all the connections.
Oh, well, we haven't seen him, though. So
Yeah, I'm establishing the criteria.
the criteria is someone we haven't seen. Like,
Are you talking about Blackjack
Usually.
Foley or
Yeah,
the
Blackjack.
little guy?
Blackjack Foley.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's Blackjack Foley, it totally counts. I'm taking my points because we haven't seen Blackjack Foley yet.
Okay.
My evening prediction. Next up, this is specifically for next episode because this is an easy one, but I gotta add it again. Throw it again. We're gonna see another bag of money unzipped. And now for my big prediction, my big massive prediction. Oh, actually, you know what? Okay, I can't. I'm gonna let you two guys decide because I had two written down here, and I can't decide on which one. So either during the scene where Taylor goes over to Birbiglia's place, he makes a point to turn off his AI house assistant Eve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Eve was listening, and Birbiglia's got a sex tape. Yeah. Either that, or you know what? I'm gonna go with that one. I'll save my next prediction for next time.
Okay.
All right. And I will say my daytime, Bill gets arrested. I don't know that he actually does time, but he gets arrested.
Yeah.
My guess is next time on, Spiros is like, no, arrest him, and Wags has to be like, you tell them you're not pressing charges, and he has to be like talked into it.
Yeah.
My evening prediction is Brian gets Chuck dead to rights, but decides, no, instead we're going to make a choice to improve my career instead of me burning you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my prime time is Axe decides to try and actually kill somebody.
Like himself, not just be
No, but like
not just pulling
instead
the
of be like
strings.
get leverage, it's no, shoot this guy.
Okay, so he at the very least orders the hit.
Yes, he orders a hit. He's not personally doing it. And I'm going to
Yeah.
say a bonus point if it's Chuck. Because I think it's he tries to kill Chuck, fails, and Wendy is just like, you tried to kill my husband.
Yeah.
Checks out.
I'd say that's going to happen at least once throughout this series. He's going to try to, off Chuck. Yeah. Well,
This was fun.
this
I
was
missed
fun.
this.
It was great to be back. I missed you guys too. It just didn't feel right not doing a weekly recording with
Happy that you could get moved and start to settle in, and looking forward to continuing this coverage. Just like I'm looking forward to continuing to thank Ripe for letting
New
us
music
use...
video coming out.
Yeah, I think is today, yesterday.
wow.
I don't think it's out yet.
Okay, yeah, but their new single has got a new video coming out. I'm looking forward to that. I really like their new single. Go give them a listen on streaming services, and they're touring. Go see them. They're a great fucking show. Hell yeah. Thanks.
Hell
Ripe.
yeah, Ripe. And thank you to you, the listener. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a review on iTunes or Facebook or Spotify or wherever you cast our pod. We currently have, oh man, I just had it up. I just had it. Okay, go to show, unfollow show.
Don't unfollow.
No, I'm not unfollow. I'm trying to go to the show where it says how many. There it is. Okay. We currently have 6 5-star ratings. And if you, listener, happen to be number 7, we will thank you personally here on the show. And if you don't like our podcast, just keep that shit to yourself.
And we will see you next time on Last Time On.
And I'm like fires through the night. I'm not trying to just survive. I want to live because I deserve it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.